Welcome to episode 3. Today we get to sit down with one of the most iconic women in the real estate industry, Tracy Cousineau. Tracy is the co-founder of Real Estate Expert Advisors, a 3 times listed Inc. 500 company. I cannot wait for you guys to listen in on how Tracy went from having $180 in the bank account to creating an empire and mentoring other real estate agents across the country. This is Unleash Your Inner Legend, a podcast featuring modern-day legends sharing their life choices, habits, and routines that got them to where they are today. Get ready to be inspired and to take massive action to unleash your inner legend. What's going on, everyone? It's Hollie here, and I am pumped to have our first official guest on Unleash Your Inner Legend podcast. She's an amazing mother, businesswoman, and friend. I'm talking about this girl went from $180 into the bank account to owning multiple companies, successful companies, should I add into that, one of which is a 3-time named Inc. 500 company. Welcome, Tracy Cousineau.
Hey, Hollie, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much. And wow, I am like totally excited to be your first podcast. I am like, this is so awesome. I am like so blessed and thankful and humbled to be on this podcast.
Yes. So when I think of like inspirational people, and if you really want to think about more, diving into it, inspirational women, you're definitely one of the top list. You're iconic. You're really an iconic woman in a male dominant industry. And together with Jason Williford, you two have created a legacy for yourselves and something that really a lot of people admire and aspire to be.
Oh, thank you. That means so much. I just, you know what? We don't see it because we just, boots on the ground every day, and we just have goals, and we set our standards, and we just keep staying in our lane and in our journey, and we just keep knocking stuff out that, we just, I guess we don't see what everybody else sees because we're just in it every single day and just always trying to be the best that we can every single day. So I appreciate that, that you see that and that you have said that. So it's heartfelt.
For sure. Well, I mean, like you guys, what I love about you guys, you're really a power couple. You guys complement each other so well. I mean, the way that you guys do business and your roles and responsibility within the company, it's just really just, almost poster child like when it comes to, not only just being like partners in life, but just being partners in the business. And it's just so awesome to see that. And I'm super grateful to have you guys, not only as, people in my life, but, friends at that. So I am so excited and awesome to follow you guys as always.
Oh, we love you too. Thank you.
So, let's talk about you and your story. One of the many things that you do so well is tell your story. And it's not a pretty one, not a fairy tale. You're not, living off of trust fund and living your best life on a beach somewhere off of someone else, money. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but your story consists of a lot of struggles. And, we all think that, life should be a certain way or the way that we tell it to people. And a lot of us struggle, and then we don't even want to tell our story because we're embarrassed or what we think the embarrassment that comes with it. So let's talk about your story and how you've built the empire that you have.
Yes. I don't even know where to begin. The story is so long that it would take listeners forever. This might be the first and only podcast if I had to go through everything. So I'm going to, just really shell it up right here in a nutshell and say that you're absolutely correct. And it wasn't pretty from, growing up to, just going through so much throughout my life, and nothing came easy. And so I was actually a huge introvert because I grew up hearing this drilled in my head every day is, don't tell anybody what happens in our house. Don't tell your story, basically. And it was like everywhere we went, school, vacations, family outings, going to visit family out of state or if they came in state. And it was always just really, and maybe it was just the times then. I really don't know. But what I do know is that I never thought I could tell anybody anything because everything was supposed to be such a secret, right? And so even through, most of my adult life, that's all I knew is that you don't tell anybody anything. And so I just, I was the kid that didn't like to do book reports in class, because I had just really struggled with being able to really always step outside to be my own self, that, I would just always like shake, and I had a fear of speaking because I guess I just didn't know what I was okay to say, even down to a book report, but just had that fear of it. And so what I had to learn throughout life and all the obstacles in life, I played the victim because that's all I knew, is all this thing, all these things just kept happening through my life over and over and over. And, I was a victim of it until really I had a mindset shift. And I woke up one day with the backbone and was like, this life has to stop, and really going through conferences and training and learning that, what, I actually am glad now. Well, not then, but now I'm glad that I had all of those obstacles and all of those failures and all those relationship problems, being verbally abused and, physically abused and, just living this life of crazy, that I actually can sit back and say, you know what, that just provided more opportunity to have a story to tell. And the more that I can tell my story, the more people that can open up and tell their story. And you don't have to wear this mask, and you don't have to be hidden and like hurt by your story. Tell your story, because there's so many people out there that can resonate with your story, that if you just let them know it's okay to tell your story, or you start speaking your story, you can build rapport with so many more people. And I didn't realize that until, not too long ago. And just when I'm able to speak and talk to people and just give them a little bit of my story, they know it's okay. Go tell your story and don't be hidden by it. And once you I tell you, once I got my story out there and my life wasn't anything to hide behind and not share and tell, success just kept going, because I was me. And you're more successful when you're the real you. And really, when you have the heart and the passion to do what you're doing, and you're not hidden behind this mask of who you're not or who you're trying to be, you should always be yourself. Maybe there's some things that need to change. Like, I had to understand the opportunity of what I went through instead of being the victim, but I was still me. But now I'm really me. I'm really who I was supposed to be. And so it's huge. That was just a huge change in my life.
Yeah. And what I love about you, Tracy, is like you said, like, you're just authentic, and it's really, giving yourself permission to be vulnerable, to be real, to be raw, to be authentic. And once you start doing that, I mean, I know I've never met anybody in my life that's perfect. And we try so hard to create these picturesque stories of our lives and how amazing it is and how beautiful it is. But yet we never tell hardships, the struggles that we go through, which is what we all need to hear. A lot of people, that's what drives us, is to understand, okay, we're human. This isn't who I am. This is just a situation or season that I'm in. And then taking that and saying, okay, now how do I go from where I'm at to where I want to be, reverse engineering those, and then getting to that point. So what I would love to talk about now is, like you said, you've had not an easy childhood. You didn't have an easy adulthood. How did you take your life from point A to point, Z? Crap, you've literally turned your life around. You've created such an opportunity and made such a great situation for you and your family. So what did you do? Let's just kind of dissect the choices that you made from, being poor, pitiful me to now one of the most iconic women in the real estate industry.
So the first thing that I had to do is realize that I created habits and made choices over being a victim. And I had to get real and know that there was nowhere else I couldn't fall any harder. I couldn't fail anymore. And failure was no longer an option. And that those habits and those choices that I had made during this black hole in my life of being the victim, that I needed to get my shit straight. I needed to realize, like, what's it going to take to get out of this? And, realizing, as an adult that I came from a hereditary background, and, not knowing until my adult life that I was adopted, and then learning this piece and my biological father and family all come from substance abuse of some sort. Now I could understand a lot. And now I could understand what choices and habits, what do I need to do? What direction do I need to go in? Well, I made a decision at that point is that my addiction was going to be work. And everything that I did moving forward, whenever I was maybe bored or couldn't, ran out of work that day, I'm creating something else. I'm looking at, okay, well, if I can do all of that work in 6 or 7 hours, what else can I create on this side to maximize more of my attention to? So I never, you form a habit, after 14, 21 days, something like that.
21 days.
Yep. So I just had to keep pushing myself to the mindset of drifting away from old habits. But one of the key factors in that was you attract who you are at that time in your life. So I had to get real on who my friends really were. And were they just social friends? Were they hangout bar friends? Were they drinking friends? Were they really haters? I had to get real with that. And that was huge. So I had to cut a lot of people out of my life at that time. And making those two immediate changes, there was no looking back. And it was just focus. And it was hustle and just keep learning. We went to some Tony Robbins events. That even made it even, more clear. And then we re-dissect it all the time is, what more can we do? And so that's now what I live off. And you know that all the time. I'm always sending you messages like, oh my gosh, what about this idea? Or what about this idea? That wasn't 6 years, 7 years ago. I wasn't waking up every day with all of these ideas because I had let my whole mindset go. I had that whole part of my brain was inactive. My creativity was gone because I went down a road that didn't need creativity anymore. Right. And so once you get right, you start reading the right books, you start hanging around the right people that push you and motivate, and they're biggest cheerleaders and they're supportive, you can only go further. And so I had to get away from people that weren't supportive, who actually liked to see me fail because it made them look better. And so once you get your true identity, and you really just sit and dissect it, journal it out. And, I didn't know you and, at the time, and I'm blessed that you're in my life and so many other people that, gosh, I had to create this whole knowing where my path was going. I had to go seek. If you were my avatar as a friend, you're the perfect avatar for my friends, right? And I had to look at that, for all aspects of everything that we did. Back then we didn't know avatars, but I knew who I wanted to be around. I knew I wanted to be around people that were going to push me and that were going to bring me to the next level. And sometimes there's even family members that gain off of you not making it to the next level, because then you outshine them. And so you really have to go through every single part of your life and go, this person, I'm friends with this person because of this, or I'm friends with this person, or this is my family member, and look and go, okay, are they an influence or are they a defluence?
Yeah, for sure.
I get real with it.
I love what you just talked about, having an avatar, or, when you think of avatar or buyer personas, you really need to think about your friend persona, your who is your people persona. I mean, if you're single and you're looking for somebody, who is your partner persona? What are the quality and traits? Because, what I love about you, and you're right, you text me. It'll be like the craziest things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. Let's do it. Or, you'll post something. It's like, this is happening. You're like, all right, let's do it. Let's go. And, a lot of people don't understand is like, you are who you hang out with, and those standards that you allow in your life, you almost have to have that scoring system, or, not allowing that kind of toxicity into your life, because, where did you and I meet? We didn't meet at the bar or at the club at 2 a.m. I can tell you that, right?
Right. Yep. No,
I mean,
absolutely.
We met at a conference that you and Jason were attending, and I just happened to be there too. And that's how we got connected, because you were bettering your life. That's obviously one of your core values. And one of my core values is to continually grow and get better. And it's just like, of course it would make sense that we would connect and just be besties from that point on.
Yep. I agree. I mean, I totally agree. And, throughout the last few years, and I want to make sure that I say this so that, if you're following this podcast, is you always want to evaluate your top 5 or top 10. I have more of a top 10 or maybe a top 20, because I'm always adding to, okay, I want to be friends with this person. Like, they're super cool. They're creating all this content. Like, I need to get in their brain space. I need to be friends with them. And so you have your like top 5 core people, which includes you, Hollie. And then you have your top 10 who, okay, these people push me to my next limit. They are my people. But then in your top 20, you can have a good 5 or 10 that maybe you're not even friends with yet, but you're going to figure out a way to get into their space. Who are they coaching with, or what conferences are they going to be at? And you seek the people that you want to have communication with, and you put yourself in that place. And, you'll outgrow people as you go. If your current friends you think are your top 5, and you start moving your journey forward, and success keeps happening for you because you keep making these changes, you're going to outgrow some people that don't raise their standards, and that's okay. And you have to know that that's okay. Doesn't mean that you just have to cut them off completely, unless they're, they're just not a good value for yourself and your family. Then anybody else, they can still be your friend. You can still have conversation with them, but they're not who your core group of people that are going to keep pushing you. I don't know that there's ever been a day, Hollie, that I've ever had to look at my top 5 people or my top 10 and go, they're devaluing me. They're not pushing me to my limits, and I need to push them off my sheet.
Yeah, because you have super high standards. Like, and that's what I love about you too. It's like, you know what you want, and you know how to get it, and you're going to freaking do it. And that's another thing I want to talk to you about, is like your hustle. I know a handful of people that hustle just as hard as you do. Like, you literally, whenever we do like our women's events and just coming over, and when I come to visit you, it's like literally at 6 a.m. it's a hustle up until like 2 a.m. And I'm like, I can barely hold my eyes open. I'm like, all right, I gotta go to bed. I can't, I'm tapping out. But like, literally you put in the work. And I think in today's day and age, especially with, social media and all these digital marketing agencies and things like that, they can paint a picture of, hey, it's just so glamorous. You just got to do this one thing, or you just got to build this one landing page or this one funnel. But it's like, you've got to put in the work. You've got to have your work ethic. You've got to be aligned with, it's almost like you have to be in sync with the people you're with, the mission that you're on, your life purpose, and then just freaking get it, right?
Yep, absolutely. So my biggest question that I ask myself whenever I'm, creating anything, or, thinking of something new, or, what is my bigger purpose? Who else can I serve? And it's, would I hire myself? And that always is just a question that I continue to ask myself in all aspects. Or would I be friends with myself? Mm-hmm. Am I being the best friend? Am I being that top 5 for my, my friends? Am I pushing them? Am I encouraging them to seek the next opportunity or look at something differently? And so, just always asking, could I be better, or could I look at something differently? But, the hustle is real. I mean, people don't know your address. You need to go find their address. And, I can't sit at home every day waiting for opportunity. I have to go seek opportunity. And I think that, the universe gives us that, it's one huge catalog, and it gives us so much opportunity. One that doesn't get out of bed every morning ready to look at the next opportunity is missing out on their life and for their whole entire family and the purpose of why they're here.
I love that. It really just starts within yourself. It starts, knowing yourself. And we had just done our Elevation Summit a few months back. And one of the exercises we took the ladies through was the Frank Kern Perfect Day. And I really feel like going through that exercise, it makes you realize of who you are to your core. And then from there, you can go through the different exercises like your Finding Your Why, like Simon Sinek has his book. And it's really dissecting that. And then I think once you know your core person, because we all think we know ourselves, but if you were to go ask 5 people who you are, I'm sure you get 5 different answers. It's really taking that time to get in silence, find out who you are, find out what you want to do with your life, find out your purpose, and then finding those people that you can complement with, like that can complement you and that you can help them out and they can help you out. It's all about like, the network and the associations that you make and just doing good in the world. So for people listening, Tracy, and I know you've been through some serious stuff. For people listening, what would you recommend them do to take that step 1 in identifying themselves as a person? What would you recommend that step would be?
I think that you have to be open and real with yourself, and you really have to look in the mirror and quit lying to yourself, and quit lying to everybody else. And people do business with people that they like and they trust, and people build rapport pretty quickly. And most people can seek through people that aren't true. And so I think you have to step backwards to go forward. And so I would encourage, take a piece of paper out and really look at what things you're playing victim on and how you can push through that and get through that. And stop being the victim. Stop acting like the victim and look at the opportunity of it and grow from it. And something that happened in your life a long time ago or 5 days ago, it's in the past, and you can only look for a solution to it or move on. We got to quit dwelling. We got to quit having all this negativity in our lives, because it only brings and attracts negativity. And in my life, that's not what I'm looking for. So, you got to find a positive outlet in life, because the more positive you're going to bring in positive, you attract what you attract. So by choices and by your habits, and just what you put out there is what you get back. And so I think you have to get totally just real with yourself. Pull back the onion, and just get on belief.
I love that. And you dropped so many truth bombs. Thank you so much for all that you do, all the inspiration. Do you have any last words for listeners?
You know what? Go get it. Open up your universe catalog and just go seek it. Nothing is stopping you but yourself.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate you taking the time to be on Unleash Your Inner Legend. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Unleash Your Inner Legend. For more inspiration, make sure to subscribe by going to unleashyourinnerlegend.com. We'll see you guys next week.